Franny here. Let's talk about Game 5 of the NBA playoffs. After Game 4, when the Mavericks came back and really played great team basketball, they were very physical on defense, and they just owned that game. And I think the coach really got them ready for that. I think they had a lot of injuries. Dodcic, I think, had been injured throughout, but he had his heart and soul in Game 4. First quarter, there looked like there could be a possibility that they could maybe sweep Game 5. But what happened? Very disappointing. The Celtics really took it to them and in the second quarter, and from there on out, it was never looking back. So I think the biggest difference in the game was the fact that they were tired. The Celtics looked tired. I mean, not the Celtics, but the Mavericks looked tired. They did not play as good team basketball, either offensively or defensively. Dodcic tried more to take it on, as did Kyrie Irving, who still did not have a great game at the Boston Gardens. Although I will say one thing about Kyrie Irving. He's a young man that was not popular in Boston. He had some antics that he pulled. But you know what? He didn't make an apology. He owned what he did, and he said he had learned some lessons. And I think anybody that has the courage to do that should not have been punished as much as he was in Boston. But he's got a heart, or it wouldn't have affected him as badly as he did. And I think the other thing that made me very proud of him was the fact that he went up and really shook the Celtics' hands individually, because he had played with those guys, and told them what a good game they have. So I think he's found his place with the Mavericks, and he will continue to do a good job. But the Celtics were just tough all year, and they played out of their gourd. Once they got that little bit of a lead in the second quarter, it was just total team play. They spread the ball out. They controlled the boards. They passed whenever they would drive. They'd kick it out, and those shots started falling. Tatum was unbelievable. He was a leader from the get-go. Even in Game 4, when nobody else was hitting, he came through for them and played great offensively and defensively. I was really high on Brown, and Brown had a tough assignment for game number 5 because he had to guard Dodcic, and that was no easy task. And he did a lot of preventing him getting the ball back once it came out of his hands, and that really put the onus on the rest of the players. But much better team basketball. It was, let's say, in all the games that I've watched through the years, this was probably the most disappointing game, because you want a finals game to go right down to the wire and be close. But the Celtics were having no part of it. They wanted this win at home, and they wanted to give it to Boston and the fans, and they deserved every bit of it. They had everybody on the whole team scoring. White played tremendously. Holiday was unbelievable. Tatum, of course. Brown, I thought he did a phenomenal job. He was right up there in the first 3 games with me as far as MVP. But I'll tell you, Tatum just took that team, put it on his back, and said, there is no way that you're going to beat us. We're bringing that championship home back to Boston. It's been too long for it not to be here. So kudos, big kudos to the Boston Celtics for winning the finals of the NBA championship. So, no, Dallas, you've got a great opportunity for next year. You got to add a few people to go along with what you have. But I think the other thing that I really want to say is Joe Mazzulla did not have a great background in how he came up through to the Boston organization and stuff. He was a backup guard at West Virginia. He didn't get drafted, and then he worked into a starting position, but he never got drafted. But he knew the game because his dad taught him the game. He was a coach. And as I've always said, I'm very partial towards guards because you have to run the show from there. So he paid his dues. He ended up, when the old coach left, he was the only one assistant that they kept because he's got a pretty clean nose. And you can tell that the players really respected him and bought into his system, bought in, and to his game, and they followed their game plan to the T. So a coach like that will get you through, and I'm very happy for him because he wasn't a big name player. He wasn't a big name coach. He paid his dues. He came up from the G League for the Boston Celtics, then spent some time as an assistant, and finally got appointed the head coach. So they found the right guy. I'm sure he's going to bring them many championships, a very young team. So they're going to be tough year in and year out. So look forward to seeing how everybody recruits for next year. But kudos to the Boston Celtics. Okay, don't forget to sign up for Franny's Sport and Travel channel. There's a little subscription below. Please invite your friends and know that we're going to have a good time together. Have a great day.